Fine, I'll do it myself. It's just 7 places with rides, a history for each, 3 closed places, and the extras video. Today I'm going to talk about all the rides at Magic Kingdom. What is considered a ride? Anything under the Attractions tab of the Disney World app. The list is sorted A to Z with the exclusion of the word A or the if it's in the beginning of the name, like the Barnstormer is listed as B. The first ride I'll talk about is Astro Orbiter. Astro Orbiter opened in 1974 as the Star Jets. In 1994 the ride was changed to how it is today, which is an improvement. Out of the 3 Dumbo spinners, this, Dumbo and Aladdin carpets, this is the most thrilling. The first of many roller coasters. The Barnstormer at Wiseacre Farm opened in 1996 and replaced Grandma Duck's petting farm. In 2011 the ride was rethemed as the Barnstormer, also known as the Barnstormer featuring Goofy as the Great Goofini. This is the worst roller coaster in Disney World probably, it's Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster but worse. What's better than one roller coaster? Another roller coaster. Big Thunder Mountain opened in 1980 and changed a couple of times. Since 2011 the third Lift Hill Cave in effect has been turned off due to the Disneyland Paris version injuring 5 people. In 2026, after Big Thunder's refurbishment, the first Lift Hill will have new effects. Until then the Disneyland version is better, due to the Dynamite Lift Hill. Another ride that's under refurbishment right now. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin opened in 1998 and replaced Delta Dream Flight. The only time the ride changed is this year, and when it reopens the guns will be different as well as the tutorial. This isn't really a ride but it's listed. KCJR Splash and Soak Station opened in 2012 and replaced Donald's boat. It is a little splash pad and that's it. It's a shame we lost Donald's boat though. This is the landmark of Magic Kingdom. Cinderella Castle opened in 1971 and haven't really changed. There have been seasonal overlays but the color scheme is mostly the same as opening day. Also I find it weird that this castle is included but the Disneyland castle isn't, only the walkthrough. Country Bear Jamboree opened in 1971 and the main change was in 2024 to turn into the Country Bear Musical Jamboree. The change is interesting. It kind of feels like a way to shove Disney music to you for the 6th time and counting, but the animatronic looked good. This ride has also had one significant change. Dumbo the Flying Elephant opened in 1971 and was moved from its original spot and duplicated in 2012. This is the most iconic of the Dumbo spinners, getting the moniker. This ride is kinda cool. Enchanted Tales with Belle opened in 2012 and replaced Storytime with Belle. Even though it has the worst looking castle, it has one of the best looking Disney effects. Watch this. Isn't that cool? The rest of the ride is more for kids though. This ride probably has changed the most through a technicality. The Hall of Presidents opened in 1971 and has a long history, so let's just start. In 1971 the first version of the attraction opened with the addition of Gerald R. Ford in 1974, Jimmy Carter in 1977, Ronald Reagan in 1981, and George H.W. Bush in 1984. In 1993 the show was refurbished, which tweaked Abraham Lincoln's speech, the music, and added Bill Clinton. In 2001 George W. Bush was added. In 2009 the show was upgraded with visual and audio effects, changed the name to Hall of Presidents as celebration of Liberty's leaders, and also added Barack Obama. In 2017 the name was reverted to the original and added Donald Trump. In 2021 the show updated to add Joe Biden. In 2025 the ride was pretty much reverted to the 2017 version with the addition of Biden. It's actually not a bad show. This is the one of, if not the most famous ride at Magic Kingdom. Haunted Mansion opened in 1977 and changed a couple of times. In 2004, Madame Leota floated instead of resting on the table. In 2006, the Beating Heart Bride was replaced by Constance Hatchaway. In 2007, the Endless Stair Room replaced the Dark Spider Room, and in 2023, the Hatbox Ghost was added. I do prefer the Disneyland Mansion. From the exterior to the Hatbox Ghost, however, the Disney World Mansion is much longer, including the Portrait Hall, busts, Endless Stair Room, and Little Leota Room. This is a high priority ride. This is the next ride. Yup, Horses. Horses Disney Animals opened in 1971 and are still there today. The horses are mostly used around Main Street and for parades. Nay, this ride hasn't changed much. It's a Small World opened in 1971 and isn't as good as the Disneyland version. The changes were as follows. In the 1970s, the children laughing with hyenas were removed. The China scene was added in 1990s. In 2023, dolls in wheelchairs were added, and lastly in 2025 the ending verse to the song was added. Overall, do this ride if you want to go insane. It's like a fever dream if you're tired. Nice, another popular ride. Jungle Cruise opened in 1971 and has changed a lot. In 1973, the area around the lions was extended. In 1983, Switzer Falls was extended. In 1991, a lot of frogs and butterflies were removed. In 1994, the rest of the frog were removed and the butterflies became completely static. Also, the Pygmy Camp got rid of spears. In 2000, the butterflies were completely removed. The last main upgrade was in 2021 when they got rid of the indigenous tribes and added the sinking boat and Trader Sam's gift shop. It's overall a great ride with well-put theming. However, bring back the frogs. You probably know what the Mad Tea Party looks like. And here's the Disneyland version. They look pretty different, but they didn't used to be. In 1971, this is how it looked. The roof and the central teapot were added in 1973. That was the only main addition besides repaints. This is the worst of the three Dumbo spinners. The Magic Carpets of Aladdin opened in 2001 and hasn't changed at all. It isn't as famous as Dumbo and isn't as thrilling as Astro Orbiter, so it kinda comes off as unnecessary. It's just another Dumbo spinner. This is a 4-in-1 entry. The Main Street vehicles opened in 1971 and haven't changed ever. The 4 vehicles include horse-drawn streetcar, fire engine, jitney, and omnibus. They all make the same loop around Main Street, the best probably being the omnibus. This is probably one of the most hated changes. The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh opened in 1999 and replaced Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. There were hundreds of people mad that Mr. Toad's was going away, especially as this one was very different to the Disneyland version, having 2 tracks. The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is a great ride, but Mr. Toad's is better. My list of Paul Pressler's bad decisions is growing steadily. If you don't know who Paul Pressler is, he made a lot of cost-cutting measures like the removal of the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride. Mickey's PhilharMagic opened in 2003 and replaced Legend of the Lion King. In 2021, the show was updated with a Coco scene. Besides that, it's a decent show. Not much else to say. This ride has had one change throughout its 53, soon to be 54-year run. Peter Pan's Flight opened in 1971 and only changed in 2024 to change the Indian scene. It's also technically the best Fantasyland dark ride, only really being rivaled by Winnie the Pooh and kind of Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid. This is one of the theme park scavenger hunts. A Pirate's Adventure Journey at the Seven Seas opened in 2013, closed in 2020, and reopened in 2021. It's actually a good game if you're in Adventureland and need to burn time. This ride is jam-packed with history, so strap in. Pirates of the Caribbean opened in 1973 and has had many changes. The same year Pirates of the Caribbean opened, Old Bill was added. The Barker bird was moved from the exit to the entrance in 1975, and then he was removed in 2006. But then came back in the new Beak and Barrel restaurant as Rummy. In 1997 the Pirates Chasing Woman was changed to Woman Chasing Pirates, the Poop Pirate became the Glutinous Pirate and the Woman Hiding became a cat. In 2006 Jack Sparrow was added around the ride as well as Captain Barbossa, and the Glutinous Pirate became the Treasure Pirate. In 2011 the Captain Blackbeard effect was added. In 2012 the Mermaid effect was added but was removed in 2015 because it was just lights and a wave effect. Lastly, in 2017 the auction scene was changed from selling woman to selling stolen things. I've been on both the Disneyland and Magic Kingdom Pirates of the Caribbean, and I can say with absolute certainty that the Magic Kingdom version feels very rushed, the Disneyland version being 7 minutes and 30 seconds longer. This is the least ride-like ride. Play Disney Parks opened 2018 and is an app that interacts with different rides. Technically this is at all 4 of the main theme parks plus the Art of Animation Resort, but I'm only going to talk about the Magic Kingdom stuff. There is a game in the queue of Peter Pan's Flight and in the queue of Space Mountain. Magic Kingdom is tied with having the least played Disney Parks games, excluding Art of Animation. Liberty Carousel opened in 1917 at Belle Island Park in Detroit, Michigan. In 1929 Liberty Carousel was moved to Olympic Park in Irvington, New Jersey. In 1971 the ride was rethemed and moved as Prince Charming Regal Carousel. Since then it hasn't really changed, maybe a repaint or touch-up. It also is significantly bigger than the Disneyland Carousel, having 5 rows instead of 4. Roller Coaster 3. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train opened in 2014 and replaced 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Ariel's Grotto, and Pooh's Playful Spot. It isn't a bad roller coaster, but the wait times can get ridiculous. Do this if the wait is short, I guess. This is the next ride, don't laugh. Smellephants on Parade opened in 2024 and are just smelly statues. The elephants smell like cotton candy, popcorn, pink lemonade, shaved ice, cho, bubblegum, caramel apple, and corn dog. I'd recommend the Smell Scavenger Hunt, this is funny. Roller Coaster 4 and 5 kinda. Space Mountain opened in 1975 and has 2 tracks, just like Matterhorn. The only difference between the 2 tracks is that the Alpha track is 10 feet longer, besides that they have the same height, top speed, and duration. Also, Space Mountain hasn't really changes throughout its history. Tree Time. Swiss Family Treehouse opened in 1971 and hasn't changed since. It is a nice walk-through attraction and it gives you good views of Adventureland. Good ride. This is the newest ride at Magic Kingdom. Tiana's Bayou Adventure opened in 2024 and replaced Splash Mountain. I've said this before, there are separate things that make Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Splash Mountain inferior to each other. What I do know is that the Magic Kingdom version is much bigger than the Disneyland version, having 5 drops instead of 3. This, however, is a worse ride compared to Disneyland. Tomorrowland Speedway opened in 1971 and changed in 1973 and got extended in 1988 when the name got changed to the Tomorrowland Indy Speedway, and in 2008 to just the Tomorrowland Speedway. I do prefer Autopia at Disneyland better because there is a lot more shade and theming. However, once Disneyland gets electric cars there is no competition. The Tomorrowland Speedway would be better if Florida wasn't so hot and sunny. You know how most people give nicknames to things at theme parks, like the Aladdin carpets or just calling it Big Thunder. I am almost positive no one says this ride's real name. Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover opened in 1975 as Wedway People Mover. In 1994 the name was changed to Tomorrowland Transit Authority, and in 2009 it was given its current name. There have been other smaller changes due to it being a tour and rides change in Tomorrowland faster than a ceiling fan rotation, but I'm not gonna say every time the voiceover was re-recorded. This is actually a really good ride and was the first ride I went on at Magic Kingdom, which made most rides feel less interesting. I highly recommend riding this, almost more than anything else. Final roller coaster of the video. Tron Light Cycle Run opened in 2023 and is okay. It isn't very comfortable, however there are normal seats in the back row of some of the trains. Also technically it is getting an overlay, which someone suggested I make a video on those, so add that to the list. I do think this ride isn't bad, the visuals are great, but I do honestly prefer Space Mountain. This ride has the rarest hidden Mickey. Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid opened in 2012 and only changed around 2015 to add more fish. The hidden Mickey only appears on November 18th around noon, where the sun will shine through the rocks, making a hidden Mickey. This ride is pretty much a carbon copy of the Disney California Adventure version, which means it's a good ride, right? This entry is confusing. The Walt Disney World Railroad is split up as different attractions based on the different stations, so a special entry for each. The Mickey's Birthday Land Station opened in 1988, 17 years after the rest of the railroad. It was also renamed the Mickey's Starland Stations in 1990, the Mickey's Toyland Station in 1995, and the Mickey's Toontown Fair Station in 1996. In 2012 the station was rebuilt to how it is today as the Fantasyland Station, with the newest addition being the Tron Tunnel. As of right now the railroad only goes between this and the Main Street Station because the Frontierland Station is closed due to Villain's Land. Also, because the Frontierland Station isn't listed, I won't cover it. The Main Street Station hasn't really changed apart from redoing the boarding area a couple of times. There isn't nearly as much to talk about the Main Street Station right now, as like I said the Frontierland Station is closed, meaning the train only goes to and from Fantasyland and Main Street. What's your favorite carousel? I give you a bit of time to think. Mine is the Carousel of Progress, which opened in 1964 at the New York World's Fair. In 1967 the whole ride was moved to Disneyland until 1975, when the whole ride was moved again to Magic Kingdom. The move also included replacing the song, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, with The Best Time of Your Life. In 1994 the ride was renamed to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress and also reverted the theme song to Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. At D23 this year Disney announced a Walt Disney animatronic to be added, I'd guess in the beginning, which could be cool to see. I'd consider this ride the most underrated ride, with the People Mover on that same tier. Again, I'd highly recommend. This is the final ride. The Tropical Serenade opened in 1971 and was pretty good. In 1997 the ride was replaced by the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. Most people hated this version of the ride because it put an IP onto the ride and made most jokes terrible. In 2011, to many people's happiness, the Tiki Room under new management caught on fire, so Disney turned it to how it is today, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. The new version isn't bad, just people prefer the Tropical Serenade. This has a very similar history to Journey into Imagination at Epcot. Great original ride, gets replaced by worst ride of the theme park to date, gets replaced by mediocre version but is accepted. Huh. I hope you enjoyed. I'm getting into a handful with Disney World, but I'll be fine. See you with Epcot.